Because the recipe for success is solid messaging and a great PR firm. Well, that's not what the Astros are. We're going to talk to you about the revelation that has come about with Yordan Alvarez's hand. It's broken, fractured. We'll talk about it right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you on this Saturday?
Oh, they can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse in my man cave talking about the Astros. Messaging, is it off? No, actually, just find me at H-Town Wheelhouse. Look for me on socials. I am pretty much everywhere. Also, follow the show. Follow Eric as well. He's all over socials. Not as much as I am, but I want y'all to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want y'all to make sure you're a listener, a follower, a viewer, whatever it is. Because you know what? No matter what happens, we're always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and make us your first listen on your way to work, on your way to the beach, whatever you're trying to do on this glorious weekend out there. But we're so close to 14,000 subscribers between Brett and I. We have 16 years of podcasting experience between Sports Talk 790 with me, and Brett does this awesome podcast with Mike Stanton over at the Back to Bullpen. So go and check us out. But we weren't going to do a podcast, and I told Brett specifically, don't do a podcast tonight. But when I saw this, I'm like, yes, we have to do a podcast. This is breaking news. I remember Brett saying there has to be something more here. And I remember this discussion last year with Kyle Tucker with the bone bruise, and there had to be something more. I know last year they're like, well, it was too inflamed. We could not see the actual what was going on underneath the inflammation. But I don't know. And then you heard the other day, Dana, I believe it was Wednesday on Sports Talk 790, Dana Brown was asked specifically about Ronel Blanco. He said, well, we don't know any information. We're waiting to hear back from doctor. We'll talk about it later after the game. Yeah. Once we hear about an announcement, I'll let you talk more about that in a second. But we want to focus more about Yordan Alvarez. We were told, and all the reports said, Brett, that he was coming back. Where are we going to put this guy in the lineup? He hit a home run yesterday. Joe thought it was all excited about, yes, he even hit one in the bleachers yesterday. Brett, what happened between yesterday and today?
Well, okay, so let's just talk about the 800-pound gorilla that is in the room. That is the Astros just continuing to fumble news. I mean, this goes back to when the scandal came out and the apologies that weren't seen as authentic by Bregman and Altuve, and just the whole messaging from the team. Look, I don't think that every fan in our fan base is looking for them to share all the medical history and get personal and all that stuff. This fan base would just like to know what is honestly going on. Okay. And when I told you there's got to be something else, there had to be something else. But what I was so confused by, and I think our viewers and listeners were confused by, is how is this guy better, but he's not playing? How is he hurt, but he's not on the field? It just didn't make sense. And so this is how Joe Espada explained it today. Yes. Thank you, Dusty Baker. HIPAA violation. Correct. So Chandler Rome actually asked him before the game. Chandler Rome said, are you guys alarmed that you missed this injury, that y'all missed something again, basically? And he said, no, we're not alarmed. He said the callus didn't build up for several days. And he said the reason why Yordan started swinging more and took BP was because the inflammation went down. He was actually feeling better. He did not think that it was worse than what he had in the past. So as he kept swinging, as he kept working, it kept feeling better and better. And what he said was because of the muscle strain, because of the inflammation, they could not see the fracture. After the BP yesterday, after the live batting practice, they even brought pitchers in to throw to him. They went for some imaging because it was really, really sore, unlike it had been the last few days, and they did see the fracture. They said the fracture could not be seen through the fluid and through the inflammation. Now, look, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not even an x-ray tech, but my question immediately is, just like everybody else's and yours, how do you miss this? How does something like this get missed? Like if a guy's got discomfort or pain when he swings, why in the hell is he taking swings 2 or 3 times a day? That would be like, hey, runner, you have turf toe or you have plantar fasciitis. You know what? Maybe just run it off. Now, in Yordan's mind, because he didn't know it was fractured, Yordan figured he could work through it, and maybe that's why he did that. But as the team managing the athlete, the asset, the player, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and I know that today, after the imaging, it says that it does show a fracture. I'm hearing that it's actually a stress fracture, which is better than just a pure fracture, but it's 60% healed. So despite trying to ramp things up to get back, the hand has healed a little bit, and so he's been trying to grip the bat while trying to heal. So I don't know.
Do you hear how crazy that sounds?
Yeah. It's I just don't know. I mean, with the fact that with the Ronel Blanco thing the other day too, with Dana Brown saying, well, we don't know. Yes, he did know.
But Eric, what do you think about this? Because I just had this thought. Could the stress fracture be from the continued swinging of the bat?
Oh, yeah, but it's 60% healed at this point. So could have been 75% healed at one point, and he's trying to hit for the fences yesterday, and it made it worse. There's discomfort after trying to swing full out at the ballpark. Of course, yeah, you're trying to hit 90 plus mile per hour fastballs. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the Astros were trying to get their guy back. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to put their best team out there, especially with them back in first place. By the way, we buried the lead there. The Astros are back in first place. The Mariners lost yesterday, but the Astros are trying to get their guy back. They're trying to get their most imposing bat back, but he's not. Now this could put him back another month, maybe another 2 months. We don't know. 60% healed. What does that mean? Does that mean how long he's going to be out? I know they said that Brown says he hopes he can return in the near future. What does that mean? Can we really trust this Astros organization to tell us the truth at this point? I cannot. I mean, because we're told that, we don't know anything about the Astros GM said, well, we don't know. We don't have any results about Ronel Blanco. When we get the results back from doctor, we'll announce it later on after the game. That was at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. At 10-something a.m., they announced that Ronel Blanco was going to be out for the season with Tommy John surgery. They knew. And I know that it's not – the Astros don't have to be totally transparent. They don't have to tell us everything. But it just I don't know if there's competitive advantage from telling keeping us in the dark or what's the deal here. But like, protect your players. Alvarez, if that was just a soreness and they just thought of something minor, why can't you go do imaging? Okay, before we start swinging, before we start getting you out there for full batting practice at the stadium, let's just do some precautionary scans just to make sure.
Let's let the swelling go down and then start swinging versus swinging when the swelling is there. A1A actually mentions this, and I thought the same thing. I made the same comments. The swings that he was taking, every swing he took, he seemed to grimace. He seemed to look like he was uncomfortable. So you could tell that it was something that was going on. With the Ronel Blanco thing, And, I think Sean Salisbury has a legitimate gripe. And I will say this because I don't want to misconstrue his words and
Right.
put a different storyline out there. He did say we appreciate Dana Brown. He did say he comes to us every week and he usually answers the tough questions. But literally the timeline was literally at 9:50 is when he asked him. At 10:20 is when they released the news. And Sean's only argument was, if why don't you tell us? Like, what do you
I can't
withhold?
tell you at the
Yeah.
moment, but
What
we
is
will
the
be making an
secret?
announcement
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. What is the 40-minute window? He goes, if you know, you know. I mean, I'll tell you right now, guys, they knew before this. They knew a week
Yeah.
before. I know that for a fact. Also, Eric, I was inquiring with one of our relief pitchers. Okay. And on this thread, this relief pitcher's wife actually helps with some of his PR stuff. And so she'll tell me, hey, he's available and all this stuff. And I was asking her about the social media stuff with Lance McCullers Jr. And this relief pitcher from the Astros said that they've also received threats. Every time he goes on the mound and he does something bad, they get threats. And so this seems to be like a common theme. And, she was appalled that people actually thought that this was a made up story with Lance McCullers Jr. I mean, Lance McCullers has actually armed security, his family does right now, still to this point. So,
Right.
so these are storylines that are out there. And you just wonder, like, what is it that is teeing these people off and getting these fans so upset? And they're not fans. They're not fanatics. These are whack jobs we're talking about.
Yeah, it's just they're so used to winning, and some people just don't know how to adjust to not winning. So, guys, we'll go and continue this conversation next on the Locked On Astros podcast.
That's where I want to tell you about our friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in the action. FanDuel makes it easy for you to stay in the game before tip-off and live, whether it's player props, performance trends, or same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. So right now, if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll win $200 in bonus bets. Bet on the tip-off. Bet on the most three-pointers in the first half. Is it going to be Tyrese Halliburton? Is Brunson going to go off? Which team is going to go to the finals from the East? Make sure you make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. So I was just watching the video of Alvarez hitting yesterday, and you can definitely tell that he's fidgeting with his hands. He's definitely uncomfortable, and he was hitting with a fractured hand. And at that point, you got to know at some point, yes, in your comeback, you're going to have some soreness, but you've got to know that there's a difference between soreness and, yeah, I should not be doing this. And I think that Alvarez is a competitor. He's somebody that wants to get back out there, but at some point he probably should have said, yeah, I need to stop. I need to start doing this. But I don't know what to think. This is just very frustrating because I know Joe Espada said all the right things in his little press meeting today. He basically just said that we thought that he was coming back, and unfortunately he has a fractured hand, so we don't know exactly how long he's going to be out. In other news, Chas McCormick went on the IL, so Shea Whitcomb is coming up. So does that mean Shea Whitcomb is going to play some more second base, and maybe we'll see a lot less Rogers?
I think we need to see a lot. I'm sorry, Rogers, I don't even know why he's on this roster. So Chas McCormick goes with the left oblique strain. Is it really strained? Or is this more of a, hey, Shea Whitcomb, here's your chance? Because I'm telling you right now, if Shea Whitcomb comes up and he crushes the baseball like he's been doing in AAA, Eric, he's absolutely going to have staying power. And if it were me and Chas were to come off the IL, I would put Chas in AAA. because if he's sitting up there and Shea Wickham's taking another spot, or maybe you keep Chaz up there and you let go of Brendan Rodgers, I don't see why you hold on to him. If Shea Whitcomb can do the job at second base, why not? I mean, Altuve's been playing more second. But Shea Whitcomb absolutely deserves a shot right now. He is hitting the cover off the ball. There was a game where he actually hit 3 home runs, Eric, in one game. And he continues to absolutely obliterate pitching.
His stats here. So he's batting .275 with a .956 OPS, 18 home runs, 38 RBIs, 6 stolen bases, and only 207 at bats. Granted, that is in AAA. We don't. He hasn't really done much at the big league level, but he hasn't been given a lot of chances.
Kyle Tucker in AAA, Yordan Alvarez in AAA, and I'm not saying Shea Whitcomb is either of those guys, but we legitimize those guys' numbers because we liked them. So we've got to legitimize these numbers. I mean, that's why whenever Jake Myers was called up, Eric, I remember when I interviewed him, one of our first player interviews when they were the Sugarland Skeeters, Jake Myers had just hit his 16th home run on the season. I had no idea who Jake Myers was. Interviewed him. A month later, he gets called up. You know, that's when I think hit like a grand slam against the Angels in Anaheim or something like that. It was, you know, he burst onto the scene. And now we're seeing a fully healthy Jake Myers. But going back to your point, look, Shea Whitcomb deserves a shot. I think Shea Whitcomb's numbers are legit. And yeah, everybody's like, oh, well, what about the 3 errors at third base? Don't worry about that. That's in the past. I know you don't live like that in the past. I don't. So why are we making our players do that? And so at the end of the day, look, we understand your frustration, fans. We understand where you're at because we are also frustrating. Maybe the Astros can seek a sponsorship from Gorilla Glue and duct tape. That's right.
I think I've mentioned that at one point with the rotation the way it was, but I know on Friday night, I think it was, or Thursday night, they had like a terrible performance from their bullpen, but really their bullpen overall has been their Gorilla Glue, so to speak. So you can't really fault the bullpen. Sometimes they're going to have a bad day. They're not going to be perfect forever. And so somebody said trade for Kyle Tucker, 0, dude. I see 0 chance of that happening, dude. So I just don't think that's going to happen.
Eric.
Yes.
Did you see Framber Valdez's performance last night?
Yes, I caught parts of the game. I know 83 pitches, complete game. That doesn't happen anymore. That was a vintage Greg Maddux type of performance.
Well, so the last lefty to do it was Tom Glavine. And get this, the Braves won their game 2-1 on a walk-off. Now check out this chart that I found on Twitter. This is really cool. It's by TJ Stats. It shows all kinds of technical stuff. Velocity on the sinker, curveball, changeup, the location of his pitches, the whiffs, the strike percentage, 71.1% strikes. He had a chase rate on all of his pitches of 40+% on most of them. I mean, Eric, this was a superb performance, and he saved the bullpen. Not only that, his catcher comes in, okay, and hits the walk-off. I mean, how great is that? Complimentary baseball. You get 2 runs. Now, you would like to have 3, but you get 2 runs. You win the game. You beat the Rays. And tonight, Colton Gordon goes on the mound. He beat the Rays in Tampa. And then you got Hunter Brown next. So, Eric, it's not far-fetched to think that the Astros could take 3 of 4 in this Rays series.
Well, they need to keep gain some ground, go ahead and put some distance between the rest of the division. I know the Mariners are still a decent team, but this is kind of the order I thought the Astros, not the Astros, but the AL West would be at the start of the season. I thought the Mariners would be a good team. I didn't know what to expect from the Rangers, but I think the order that they're in right now is kind of what I expected. I didn't expect a lot from the Angels. But the A's, they went on their run, but I don't know until that young talent kind of matures a little bit. I think they're maybe a couple years before their competitors, but they've got some great young talent. But the Astros, this is their chance to put some distance between whoever it is, whether it's the Mariners or the Rangers.
Dude, the Rangers, they fired their hitting coach and rehired a hitting coach, and their offense is terrible right now. I mean, you've got, and then last night you got to love in Seattle, Eric, the first time in the modern baseball era that a team has been down, come back in the 9th inning, and then scored 6+ runs in extra innings. And guess who was a part of that? Former Houston Astro.
Carlos Correa?
Carlos Correa hit a 2-run bomb in the 10th inning, and he was round on the bases, and there were so many boos. And I was like, wow, because, I mean, Seattle was up 4-0 in the first inning, and they went up 6-2. And so that was solid. The Astros, I think if Whitcomb comes up, dude, Paredes is hitting the ball. Jeremy Pena is hitting the ball. Diaz is starting to swing a bat. Cam Smith, Eric, at the plate has been excellent. Yeah. You know, Christian Walker, he's back, but will he become the Christian Walker we need him to be? But Eric, there's a lot of things to like about this team. And I know it's only a half game over the Mariners, but it's a whole lot better place than you were last year.
Yes, definitely. The Astros are a different team. They're not as exciting as last year's team or teams in the past, but they're getting it done with pitching. They're getting it done with timely hitting. And you want Alvarez back in the lineup, but maybe they rushed him back too soon. Maybe if they would have just said, hey, let's just wait a little bit. But I think that something's going to, I don't know. There has to be something with I know you said fire Methodist. This is not Methodist's fault. We're joking about that before the show.
I said that off the air. I didn't say that on the air. Don't out me with off the air comments. Come on now.
But
you know, of course, the reason why I said that is the team doctors are from the Methodist Hospital, and they seem to have missed just about every injury. So
I don't know. Like people have said, I don't know if it's that the doctors have missed it or we're just not being told everything. And like Chandler Rome has mentioned several times, there are some teams that have their team doctors. They have a weekly not podcast, but a press conference that, here's a podcast. We are the Detroit Tigers.
If our doctors have a weekly podcast, what's it called? Misdiagnosed once again.
That's hilarious. But so I just feel like I don't know if they think it's some type of competitive advantage, but it's just frustrating. Astros fans spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of their life being fans, and they want to just know what's going on with their favorite players. Alvarez is one of the Astros remaining from all the players that have left over the past couple of years, and he's one of their favorites. I know Altuve is probably the most popular Astro, but I would say that Alvarez is one of the next ones. So we want to know what's going on with him, and for him to be all of a sudden, hey, he's about to come back. Where are we going to put him in the lineup? Where is he going to play? Because you have all these other guys hitting. All of a sudden, oh, wait, hold on a second. He's got a fracture. That's an issue. And I think that they've got to reevaluate either what they say or their communication message, something like that.
Yes. I think at times this team has chosen to say things when sometimes it's better to not say anything and be thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all suspicion. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Dana Brown is being foolish with this messaging, but whoever is in charge of getting the messaging out, there's just something that just doesn't seem to hit right. And in all seriousness, we are not trashing the Methodist Hospital. No. I have a lot of friends who work there. I have a lot of friends who have been treated there. And let me just state this, Eric, for you and I. We're not doctors, okay? We don't know. We're not in there. We can't read the x-rays, and we understand that everybody is frustrated. We are frustrated right alongside you. We're just asking the questions out loud and having the conversation that a lot of people are having, on their keyboards. The bottom line is this. Joe Espada was right. When Yordan Alvarez comes back, you get immediately better. So that's a trade deadline acquisition. That's right. Vince is correct. The best thing is that Alvarez gets 100% healthy. And they say this is unlike any of his other hand injuries. So, Look, Get better, big fella. We'll hold the fort down until you get there. You know, the guys, Diaz and company, will hold it down for you. But yeah, we acknowledge your frustration. And J Ray says, why lie like this? Look, I don't think anybody intentionally lied. But then again, I don't think we'll ever know all the answers because we're not in the meeting.
Strategic. They have somebody made this decision to not tell people, and it's not like they want to know all the facts before they reveal it. So that, like when they went to go get the second opinion with Ronel Blanco, they went ahead and waited till they got the second opinion. They knew that probably the first doctor said he's going to have Tommy John surgery. Same thing with Wisniewski. Probably same thing. First doctor said, hey, you need Tommy John. So they're like, well, let's go and get a second opinion. They're not going to go out and say, hey, you need to do this big surgery until you get a second opinion. But in this situation, maybe they really didn't know. And that's the thing that's a little bit more alarming. And I know you kind of broke it down, but we can talk about this all day.
Yeah. This is what I want to know. Who is this first doctor that they keep going to that they don't trust enough? Like, he probably hears that news and goes, I tried to tell him. Like, I'm sitting there going, okay, are you like, what kind of doctor are you? Are you the guy they don't trust? Or are you the guy they come to verify what the other guy said?
Well, think about it this way, Brett. There's millions and millions of dollars on the line. So let's say your school district paid you to teach, and you had to have your doctor said, hey, Brett, you need to have your throat operated on, and you're not gonna be able to talk for a year and a half.
Dude, don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on me.
But do you understand what I'm saying? So your district,
I get it. And I'm being a little tongue in cheek, but I still do one in the back of my mind. That's how I think. I'm like, God, this first doctor is like, every freaking time I give them an injury update, they go to somebody else.
They're used to it. They do. And even I've been to a doctor. They're like, hey, if you want to go get a second opinion, that's fine. But this is what I think you should do with one of my knee surgeries. And so it's just part.
I will say this to wrap this discussion up in a real world incident. Okay. I had a former student of mine, Jared Wells, who he came out of West Columbia. He originally went to play college football. ETBU, East Texas Baptist University, had just restarted their football program. 5 games into his football career, blew out his knee, got tackled on the legs, blew out his knee. The first doctor he went to said, you'll never play sports again. He's like, I don't trust that. So he went to another doctor. The next doctor said, now you can play sports, but you'll never play football again. He's like, can I play baseball? Can I? Oh, yeah. You know what? He went on to get drafted by the Padres. He pitched for Tyler Junior College, San Jacinto Junior College, won a couple College World Series, played in the pros, ended up having a 5 or 6 year Major League Baseball career. Actually pitched for the Skeeters a little bit and runs his own ball club. So I understand the second opinions, and I'm being a little tongue in cheek because sometimes with this stuff, you gotta have a little bit of a sense of humor, because if you don't, it'll drive you crazy in a 162 game season.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. So we're waiting for the game start. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out, and we'll see you tomorrow. Brett is taking night off, and I'm taking night off as well. So we'll see you later, and go Stros.
Go Stros. So wait, was that your way of telling me that I can't do a show on air?
Take the night off.
What if they hit 20 home runs tonight?